Right, y'all, welcome back. It is October 19th, 2024. It's Saturday, and we're nearing the end of the 60 playlist. Car is pretty much done. There's really nothing else left to record or worth recording. So in an effort of being full transparent, as I am with all my videos, we're going to dissect exactly how much time and money it takes to put a machine like this together with the components that I used. I saved all the hours, I saved all the money on a spreadsheet. So we're going to get into it. But off the top, I have some notes here. On the playlist, we have about 41 hours worth of footage that has been recorded building this car, out of approximately 1,622 and a half hours, man hours, spent building this car. Out of that amount, about 1,052 were me alone. So I have approximately 1,000 hours in this car, and then another 550 or so with my friends, the Get It Done crew, who you guys seen. We've been working on all of our cars. Thanks to them. Thanks to my wife, who's behind the camera, and obviously thanks to the man upstairs for making all this possible. Dollar amount, we have $118,000 in this car. $118,000 in this car, and that is quite a sticker shock. It's still a sticker shock for me. However, I really don't have any regrets. I built the car exactly how I wanted it. There's nothing else that I would have done different financially. Mechanically or hands-on, I would have done some things different, and we'll get into that. When we first bought the car, we got it here at the house, and me and my wife sat here that night, and we came up with a ballpark estimate of what it would take to put this car together. And we didn't use any catalogs, we didn't use eBay, we didn't use any websites. We used numbers off the top of my head from previous builds, previous cars that I put together. Yep. Just freestyle off the top of my head, how much interior costs, how much glass costs, how much
from
paint
top to bottom.
From top to bottom, how much paint materials cost, wheels, hydraulics, drivetrain, wiring, the whole job. Off the top of my head. And at that time,
it took us a few hours.
It took about 3 hours to put the list together, but I enjoyed it. And at that time, we came up with the dollar amount of $91,150. All in, including the cost of the car to finish the car. So we blew the budget. I blew the budget by...
Yeah, let's make sure that's made clear.
9 and 18 is 27, right? That's what we came up with.
What?
9 and 18 is 27. We blew the budget by $27,000. And I know exactly where it went. But we did this car in 3 years' time. We got it September 2021.
Yep.
We're in October 2024, so 3 years' time, the car is done. So, like I say, we're going to give you the meat and potatoes on this video and dollar amounts of what it costs. And that's just parts. That's no labor, because honestly, this car has never left my shop.
No, it's never
left my house.
No.
We did sub out, obviously, chrome plating. We subbed out powder coat. But everything else, we did sub out the top. Convertible top install, but the guy did it here at the house.
Yeah.
So this car has never left, my backyard to have any work done. The entire thing was built right here in this shop with me and my friends, and we got it done. That's why we call ourselves a Get It Done crew. So let's get right into it. I think we'll start with start front to back. We'll start with the engine. So what we have here is a complete pullout. It's a 2018 5.3, came out of a truck, and a 6L80 transmission. It was a direct pullout complete. I didn't take it apart. We did paint it. I painted it together, the engine and transmission. And of course we had to get different motor mounts, different transmission pan, different transmission mount, different oil pan. And that's really all it took to make it fit. Now we did mock it up before paint. Obviously we shaved the firewall, but as far as the drivetrain, is a 2018 5.3, and it has a Corvette car intake. The pulley kit is a CVF pulley kit. The headers are Speed Engineering, Willwood manual brakes. I went with manual brakes. It has a Champion knockoff Champion radiator. But like I say, the engine is painted. You know, these covers, they used to say Corvette. I smoothed them out and I painted them to match. This thing has about, I don't know, maybe 5 miles so far, if that, since the install. We shaved the firewall. We deleted everything. We shaved the body mounts. So you don't see any wiring under here. That was the objective. You see a little bit right here by the alternator, which you really can't get away from. You don't see any of the headlight wiring. You don't see anything other than battery cables and a little bit of alternator. We also molded out the wheel wells. So those who may have the eye for detail, we filled in any holes and any tabs or square holes on the wheel wells. We molded them all in and painted to match. Under the hood is painted to match. I prepped all that, I painted all that, and then we have the stock look hood insulation, and this bracket right here is powder coated. So everything under the hood has been refurbished, touched at some point in some fashion. So that's it for the engine. We definitely blew the budget on the engine, but this is my first time with a fuel injection, so I really didn't know what I was getting into. I've always been a carburetor. The wiring harness I got from Swap Time. He did a good job on it. The computer, he reflashed the computer for me. So yeah, so that's under the hood. Everything is fresh right now. Haven't really put any miles on it, but it does run. Runs real good. Idles good. Idles fine. Runs, stops, steers. It's all good. Next up is the glass. I got a brand new windshield and windshield channel, or wet strip if you want to call it. Got that from Auto City Classic. I polished out the stainless myself, all around, the convertible stainless, and put it back on. All the glass actually came from Auto City. The quarter window, door glass, and the vent window, it's all tinted green to match. If I remember right, the windows come with this channel right here, but the quarter windows don't come with anything. So that's original. It cleaned up real nice. The vent window, new glass. It came with the chrome frame, put new seals, but the actual vent window housing is original to the car, and it cleaned up really nice. It didn't need replating. So able to just polish that out by hand. Then of course the convertible top has a plastic. Went with a plastic back window that mimics a glass back window with the little strip down here. I got this from ARO 2000 website. It shipped directly to you, and it's a plastic back window. I opted for plastic because
it's a little dirty.
That's what I've always had, is plastic. So plastic does the job just fine for me. Spotlights. These are new views. It's kind of a love-hate relationship with the new views. A lot of people like them. A lot of people don't like them. I like them. They're a good alternative to the Trailmaster. And a fun fact that a lot of people might not know is that the new views are an improvement to the Trailmaster. The Trailmasters came out first. The new views came out second. It's a redesigned improvement from the Trailmaster. I know that might upset a lot of people, but the new views were an improvement to the Trailmaster. If you don't believe me, you can look up the patents. Okay?
Ooh.
So those were re-chromed. I actually bought these as is. I got them from a guy out in Sacramento, and man, they're show quality chrome.
That was tough to hear.
It's true. Interior. Next up, interior. So we're going to include the convertible top with the upholstery. Like I said, I got this top from the website aro2000.com. I believe the guy's name is Peter. I'm not sure. It's been a while. But this is a medium green vinyl top. I went with vinyl. A lot of people prefer canvas. I prefer vinyl. It's a lot more durable, lasts way longer. It's medium green. This color actually was out of stock or back ordered when I bought the car. I knew what I wanted and it wasn't available. It was back ordered for years before COVID. So I remember I got this car in 2021 and it had been back ordered since before COVID, since before early 2020, with no indication that it was going to come back.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, crap. So there's only one, at the time, there was only one alternative to a green top, and that was a dark green canvas. So I bought the dark green canvas because I didn't want to not be able to get a green top later on down the road. So I bought the dark green canvas. Then the vinyl came back. So I bought the vinyl and I sold the canvas. Sold the canvas to a guy in Nebraska. It looks great on his car. His car's a darker green. But I bought a brand new top pads, brand new well liner, and then I had the guy, Chito, come out here to the house and install it. He did a hell of a job. One regret I do have on the top is I wish the glass would have been installed first, because it's a lot easier to have the glass installed first and align the top rack to the glass and get everything to seal and then have the top installed. So that's one regret I do have with the car.
Yep.
But I was able to adjust the top rack with the top installed to get it to seal and line up, pretty decent. But for you guys building these cars, install the side glass first, then install the top rack, line the top rack up to the glass with the weather strip, then have the top installed. Save yourself the headache. We'll get into the inside of the car. Oh. Not wrong way. It looked like it was going up. Switch it back.
Uh-oh.
Note that. All right, on to the upholstery. So we'll start with the dash. The dash has some subtle modifications that a lot of people may not notice. The front speaker has been deleted, so the dash is molded smooth. There's no speaker up top. The ashtray and the heater, stock heater controls, which normally would go here, ashtray here, heater controls there, have been deleted and molded out. I also deleted the dimpled dash fascia. I wanted a painted dash look, so I deleted that, sold that, got a little bit of money out of that. It does have air conditioned vents, original AC vents, but the car doesn't have air conditioning yet. It's got a Dakota digital dash, made to look like stock. You guys see that? Oh, sorry. So, I mean, you guys know the Dakota, you can change all the colors and do all kinds of things. It's got 61 through 64 one-piece front floor mat, green. They don't make these for $59.60, but the 61 through 64 fit just fine. It's got an adjustable gas pedal. It's got, and I did it, tilt steering column, and it's got the miniature 15-inch 5960 steering wheel that's sold on eBay, and I two-toned it to match the car and the side stripe. All this trim right here was removed and painted. all
Which one?
refinished. Huh?
Which one?
All these trims right here. Inner windshield, even the one under the right here. It's all been repainted. Onto the seat upholstery and door panels. We got that from Ciadella. Ciadella out in Tempe, Arizona. Got the banner on the wall. Gina sent me. Looks fantastic. I had the seat covers made. I didn't want any white on the upholstery from stock. All the light gray would be white. Didn't want that. So picked out a color and she put it together for me, or they put it together for me. So she sent me the seat covers and the pre-assembled door panels. And actually, me and Mrs. Lonestar here, we did the front and rear seats ourselves.
Yep.
First time doing that, we used the all new foam. The seat frames have been sandblasted and powder coated, which you don't even see now. It's got a 6-way power seat. And like I say, it's got the tilt steering. Pre-assembled door panels are, flawless. I polished out the stainless here. Same on that door, and I sent them to her, and she had her team install them in the door panels for me. We got new reflectors, new end caps, new door handles, all new window cranks, new sill plate, new carpet, obviously. And then the armrests and the rear piston covers, I farmed out to an upholstery shop here locally and had them do it. I tried to do it myself, but I was struggling, and
It's not worth the headache.
it wasn't worth the headache. So.
It was too much.
Plus that week I remember I was sick.
It was a
just
lot.
a bad
It was
week.
easier just to get them done.
Sure. New window cranks, new ashtrays. My buddy, Red Rocket, he put those LED together for me. Those come out of, I believe, a Buick. They were never in Impala. So we got LEDs in the rear, we got LEDs under the front. Just some generic kick panels that are sold on eBay that I dyed light green. But that's the upholstery. So I got all new weather strip, new top weather strip, new 8-pillar weather strip, door weather strip, all new weather strip throughout the entire car. The rear speaker was also refinished. I painted that, polished that out. Every square inch of this car has been touched.
Yeah.
Every single square inch. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. So let's move on to the trunk. Just as we're trying to record, some people decide they want to go ahead and get down over there. So they're having a party. But in the trunk, you guys just recently saw the install video. It's 4 high-low. They call them pompita, which mimic aircraft hydraulics. The pumps are high-low. The dumps are Black Magic mini monsters. And then the motor bands I got from Reds. We got painted accumulators, painted tanks, painted batteries, custom hold downs, custom hard lines, custom return hard lines. Everything is either polished, painted, or chromed. Original trunk mat.
Polished, painted, or chrome?
Yep.
Wow.
We got Raptor liner underneath the trunk mat to match. All in the quarters. The underside of the trunk lid has been painted to match. All in door jam, all in the trunk jams. Everything has been painted to match. Every square inch of this car has been refurbished. So it's a 4 pump, 6 battery. We got the custom bulkheads on the trunk hinges. You know, a lot of guys watching the video may not be a fan of hydraulics. May say I ruined the car with them, but I don't think so. So I love it. I think it looks great. I'm glad we were able to pull it off exactly how we did. I think next up we'll talk about paint and body, and then we'll talk about chrome. So on to the paint and body of the car. So the paint and body was done, the sheet metal was done by me and my friends, the body work was done by me, the paint was done by me and my friends, the buffing was done by me. So a collaboration of all of us. Let's see, where do we start? The hood is original to the car. Everything on the whole car, on the outside of the car, was bare metal first. We bare metaled it down. Well, first we did the sheet metal repair. We'll get into that. But once the sheet metal repair was done, we bare metaled it down. We got it in 2 or 3 coats of epoxy. I did my filler work on top of the epoxy. Then once that was done, then I sprayed more epoxy and blocked that down. I believe I got that to 180. And then I sprayed feather fill polyester primer. I blocked that down with 280, 220. Finished it off, I believe, in 220. And then I went with a regular build 2K primer, kind of a thin, just to refine, just to cover the scratches. And then I finished it, I believe, in 600. Then I sealed it in reduced epoxy. Then it got 3 coats of Lessenol base coat. It got 3 coats of SPI Euro clear coat. Then I cut it with, I believe, 600. And then it got 3 more coats of clear. So it's been flow coated. And then it got wet sanded and buffed. So it's quite a process. And I think that's where the bulk of the labor of the hours came in to play. But the hood is original to the car. The fenders are not. On the wiper cowl here, a little subtle modification is we deleted the wipers completely. That was in an effort to shave the firewall. Wipers are gone. Deleted the wiper arms right here. We debated on covering the entire thing, but we opted just for covering this area where the little thing would poke out for the wipers. So no wipers. The fenders came from another car. This car wasn't gapped. I didn't spend time gapping it and trying to get the gaps perfect and all that. I mean, we could have, but I didn't want to, which is why we didn't. So the gaps are not, perfect, but they're GM perfect. You know what I mean? So fenders are not original to the car. Came from a car in Arizona. The doors are original to the car. Like I say, all the trim was removed. The whole thing was bare metal. The doors are original to the car. Man, where do I start talking about this quarter panel? This quarter panel, it had so much oil canning on the top of it.
Maybe we can insert a clip of the before.
Of the before because
take y'all back a little bit.
When we did this, I was getting off into some stuff that I didn't know how to do and how to fix. So, but we had to figure it out.
Well, it was buckling and everything. It was under a lot of pressure. It still would not have been good.
So we cut the fin about right here and replaced the top fin. And then we did lower quarter patches. And I wasn't happy with the result. It looked okay, but it had a little bit of a bow. Yeah. Bow out. So luckily, my buddy Johnny, with the 59 he's working on, he scored a 60 two-door Bel Air or Biscayne, one of those, that had pretty cherry full quarter panels. So I think I gave him the quarter panels for a set of, I forgot, it was like $200 or something, steel. And we end up redoing the quarter panel with the Bel Air quarter panel. And I felt a lot better about that repair than what we had before. So once that was done, then I had to drill all the holes for the trim because it was a Bel Air and this is an Impala. We had to mock up all the trim and to get it, to look decent. And then, of course, the body work. The cruiser skirts are NOS 12x60 that I scored from a good friend of mine in Kentucky. They came with the trim, the stars and the ports. They're available on eBay. Those are Pontiac stars. It's a lot cheaper if you search Pontiac stars instead of searching Impala cruiser skirt stars.
Tech tip.
The scuff guards, I really got at a bargain. I found these on the Jalopy Journal website. It's a post forum. It's kind of old. There was a topic on there, just like 12 years old, of somebody trying to sell NOS Foxcraft scuff guards for cruiser skirt. He posted it and nobody ever responded. And this was like 12, 13, 14 years ago, I forgot. And so I had to create an account on the Jalopy Journal so that I could message this guy. So I messaged him. I asked him if, by any chance, do you still have them? Mm-hmm. And he's in Canada. And he said, actually, I do. Mm-hmm. I said, I'd like to buy them. I got them for $40 shipped.
Shoot.
from Canada, which is virtually free.
Yeah.
NOS.
Those are not $40 in the open market.
They're $500
yeah.
or more. So man, what a score on that. That completed the cruiser skirt. And so those are NOS that I took down to the metal and bodyworked them and painted them and all that. So got NOS skirt, NOS hockey stick, NOS scuff guard. Trunk is original to the car. That got bare metal down in the same process I just explained. Like I say, the dash and all that was painted. The jams, the door jams were painted. Everything on the car, the Continental kit, was all bare metal before paint. And a tech tip that I like to give to people who buy reproduction fenders and hoods and trunks and stuff for their 62, 63, 64 is don't trust the E-coat. Take it all down. That E-coat is either dipped or sprayed overseas, obviously. You don't know the conditions that it's dipped or sprayed in. You don't know who did it. You don't know if they did it outside in the rain. You don't know if an 8-year-old kid did it. You don't know. So it's best just to take it down and use products that you know, which would be epoxy or self-etching primer, and start from a process that you know that you can confirm, versus that's a huge variable. Especially you want to buy a repop trunk and you're going to put graphics and stuff, or lowrider paint jobs and all that on top of all that E-coat, and if that foundation was not the way it should be, you could have something come back, and it's going to break your heart
or react.
And so it's best to take it all down, even though it's a brand new part. It don't take but an hour to take it down and start from there. That's my advice. Go back to the paint job. This is the passenger side. It's got front and rear quarter patches, lower quarter patches. The upside was good, so we did our seam behind the trim. So behind the trim is the seam, whereas if anything were to bubble up or anything, it would be behind the trim, so you wouldn't see it. And then I believe on this one we came up through here, all the way right here behind the wing. So the whole seam is behind the trim. So we got lucky on that. And we really got lucky, or I got lucky at the timing of the purchase of the quarter panels, because they're no longer reproduced. The quarter patches are no longer reproduced. So we got real lucky and real fortunate to be able to buy them. It's got stainless rocker moldings. All the stainless fin and doors has been polished. The side moldings are new.
They sure are reflective.
Yeah, they're mirror finish. I didn't have to do anything but unwrap them and put them on the car.
Yeah, it's reflecting the ground, but they're not.
Yeah.
That's not how they look. Good.
Next up, after the paint job, was bright work, which everything on the outside that was aluminum has been chrome plated. So eyebrows, headlight bezels, grill emblem, retainer, I guess you can call it. Of course, the bumpers, bumper guards, all that has been triple chrome plated, other than the license plate panel. But everything was chrome plated or new. The hood letters, the fender spears, door handles, everything was either chrome plated or bought new. On the back end, the bumper guards, the Continental kit came already chromed, but we did the bumper, the bumper guards, and the tail panels. Tail panels I scored off eBay, already chromed for sale from a chrome shop. And then of course this little piece right here, this was chrome plated also. This is normally aluminum and these are stainless. So this is chromed, and then these were NOS actually. I bought them NOS. Also chromed was the convertible snap trim. Probably dirty, greasy or whatever, but that was chrome plated. I guess next up, talk about the frame, but I really can't show it. Yeah. Also forgot to mention we replaced the front floor pan. Well, actually the front and the rear The whole front floor pan was replaced on this car. Rockers were good, floor pans were shot, lower quarters were shot. Trunk pan was good. As far as underneath, of course you can't really see it right now, but we'll attach some pictures. Underneath, I had it sandblasted and epoxy, and then tinted green Raptor liner. And then the frame was four-side reinforced, molded, painted black. It's got a 4 9-inch rear end with 350 gears. It's got 12s in the back, 1-ton full stack. It's got 8s in the front, cylinders I'm talking about. 2-ton pre-cut with shallow cups. Can't really go too low, unfortunately. I mean, you see a lot of these 5960s, the skirt covers the ground, covers the wheel completely. I can't do that because it's got a fuel injection gas tank that hangs lower than a stock gas tank. If you go too low, you risk dragging the gas tank. On the front, the transmission pan hangs up. What's that same from last night? Edit that out. On the front, the transmission pan hangs lower than the frame, so we really can't go too low on the front. We don't want to damage that, so we're kind of limited on how low we can go. But I'm going to go a little bit lower in the back. But the frame is fully molded. We'll attach some pictures. It's fully molded. I went with black. I know some people might say, oh, it should have went chrome and paint. Yeah, I could have, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to, mainly because of the maintenance behind it. It's just too much. I've had that. I don't really care for that. But the front suspension is molded, reinforced. The frame is four-way wrapped. It's got a 4 9-inch rear end.
Well, you have to be careful when you drive it, and we live in a rural area. There's a lot of construction. It's a lot of crunchy roads. It's just
roads,
not.
roads,
you're not going to be able to enjoy your car to the fullest if
not where we live.
if you got chrome underneath.
Plus, I don't want to lay under there and clean it. So I opted not to do that. So built the car the way I want it, and I'm happy with it. Got dual antennas in the back, forgot to mention that. But that's pretty much the overview of the car. The only thing that is original, other than the vent windows, is the gas cap. And original gas cap, it fits fine. I hit it with some rattle can, and that's the only thing original to the car.
Wow.
Everything else has been touched. The balances were bought. The lower balances we started the video with, those were bought repopped, and they fit fine. But back to what I was saying, we got 1,600 hours in this thing and $118,000, $297.20. Wow. Let's get into that. All right, so we're going to get into the cost to build something like this and kind of break it down into sections. So we have a little spreadsheet here that we're going to post a screenshot in the video. The first thing is the purchase of the car. So I kind of looked high and low all over the country when I was looking to buy this car or a car, and man, it's just hard to find. People say it's hard to find a good customer. Well, it's hard to find a good seller too. I got stood up by a lot of people, few people, not a lot. Some of them might consider themselves Impala gods. They stalled me out. Luckily, I was able to find this car local. It's on Facebook. It's like 20 minutes from us, maybe 20 minutes in Houston, and maybe 40 minutes. And he wanted like 50 grand at first, and I was like, man, no way. We went to go look at it. It didn't sell. He reduced the price. I hit him up again. I was like, man, I really want the car, this and that. And I said, man, you know, I got money. I got a truck and trailer. Like, I'm serious. I want to buy it. And we settled on $36,500. $36,500. I put a significant amount down, and then I got a small personal loan to cover the rest. Now we can get into a whole discussion about that, because you know that's a big sin for a lot of people. But if you can utilize it to your advantage, I'm all for it. $36,500 for the car, local. Okay, Local is a big factor. Local because you can go see the car in person, and you can negotiate in person, and you don't have to factor in the travel costs. You don't have to factor in the gas, the time, and the hotel, the truck and trailer, but more importantly, the time. You can go find a car cross country. If you want to go get it yourself, you're going to spend 3 or 4 days on the road. That's time missed from work, or you can send a transporter, and if you want to buy the car sight unseen, you're probably going to you're going to get some surprises.
Yeah.
So being able to see it front and center, local, is a huge factor for me. So I was okay with the price. It also had the original title, the original 1960 state of Missouri title with the car.
I think we previewed that in one of the first videos we showed you guys.
Yep.
The preview of that.
The preview of that. And that's a big deal too. A clean title, no bill of sale, none of that other nonsense. It was a clean title. So I paid it. And soon after, I paid the loan that I had off. Paid some interest on it. So the actual total price of the car was $39,798, 40 grand. 40 grand 3 years ago. At the time, that was quite a sticker shock. But now, if you try and find one, you can find one that's already restored. It's going to have a 283 or a 348. It's going to be red. It's going to be white. It might be black if you're lucky. But more than likely, it's going to be red. With red interior, with a white top, with a 348 or a 283. That's not what I wanted. I wanted a green one, and I haven't seen a green one for sale since, honestly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a very specific car that you're looking for. If you're looking for a very specific car, you're better off building it the way you want, because you're not going to be able to find it. So that was another factor too. And the red ones with the 283 and the 348 with the white top and the red interior, nothing wrong with those. I mean, I like them, but that's not what I wanted. Those are, 90 grand.
Yeah.
90 to 100 plus, and they're not going to have everything that you want on the car.
A lot of it's just because it's red.
Sure. It's not going to have the hydraulics. It's not going to have power seat. It's not going to have the tilt steering. It's not going to have a lot of things that this car has. So I was forced to buy a project that I had to do it my way. Next up is the paint at $83,2411. $8,300 in the paint. Now that includes the sheet metal that I had to buy. That includes the floor pan. That includes the body filler. That includes the paint, the clear coat, all the buffing compounds, all the wool pad, pretty much everything to go from kneading quarter panels to buffing the paint and everything in between. $8,300. I believe out of that, about half of that was actual paint material cost. Probably around $4 grand just in materials. Just in materials alone. And since then, price has gone up. Next on the list, we have the engine at $13,615.70. 13 grand for the engine. That includes the drivetrain, the engine transmission, the wiring, the pulley kit, the battery, the gas tank, the fuel injection system, the fittings, the hoses, everything to turn the car on, to start the engine. It's got brand new spark plugs. That's the Dingo Dirty Dingo sliders. That's the transmission pan. That's the transmission mount. That's the radiator. Everything under the hood is 13 grand. 13,615. It's a big chunk of money, but I still think that's on the cheap end, or I shouldn't say cheap. That's still saving money versus if you went to a shop and said, this is what I want, and I want you to paint it to match too. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
I want you to paint it the color of my car.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Most speed shops won't do that, so you're going to have to go to a body shop, paint and body shop, have them paint the motor, then transport it to the speed shop, and then have your car so you see what I mean? It turns into a much bigger expense and a bigger liability, because you're involving all these entities to achieve one goal, and that's a lot of moving parts. Next up, trim. 10,530 on the trim, and I believe that includes the chrome plating, the stainless that I had to buy.
Y'all heard that number right? 10,000.
10 grand. 10,530. 10 and a half. Chrome plating the bumpers, chrome plating the grill, the headlight bezels, the hood lip, the airplanes, the side airplanes, the long fin stainless that I had to rebuy because it was damaged, the corner fin stainless, the trunk fin stainless, all the trim. 10 grand. And I believe out of that 10, I want to say about 3,500 was in chrome plating, if I remember right. Some of the parts I bought already chromed, some of them I had chromed local, so it's kind of a mix and match. This is kind of just I kind of clumped it up as one. I consider it 6,500 on chrome plating. I consider it bright work. So any trim that had to be bought and chrome plated is in that category. I consider it bright work. I'm gonna scroll back to the so where are we at? Skirts. Skirts actually were a steal.
Yeah, they were.
I paid $21.62 for the skirts. That was shipping included. That was with that's fully dressed. That's fully dressed with exhaust ports, the stars, the trim, and then, like I said earlier, the scuff pads.
That was due to friends coming in clutch.
Sure, man, because they're hard to find. I mean, in hindsight, there's a guy that actually makes them from scratch that if I weren't able to find them, I would have bought those. But to find some NOS for $2,100 fully dressed, I think that's a bargain. I think that's probably, for 12x60, that's probably half price. Or it's at least a 40% savings.
And what does fully dressed mean?
With the exhaust ports, the stars, the trim, fully dressed. I think that's about half price, or about 40% savings.
So the price of the skirts alone was half.
Sure. Yeah. Big Doe hooked me up. Bumper kit right under $3 grand. That's a price you really can't get away from. It is what it is. It's retail. I got it out of Canada. It came already, complete. So that's one of those things that if you want it, you got to pay for it. I could have opted for the 60 kit, but I really wanted the 59 kit. So I could have saved, I don't know, about $300 if I would have went with the 60 kit, but that's not what I wanted. So it's kind of one of those things. If you want it, you pay it. If you don't, you don't have it.
Put up and shut up.
That's right. Interior. So on the interior, we're at $75,999. So $7,600. That includes the interior kit. That includes the foam. That includes, I believe, the digital dash, the tilt column, the steering wheel, the carpet, basically everything on the inside of the car, the armrests, everything that you see on the inside of the car is considered interior. Glass, we're at about $1,100. That was a new windshield, new side glass, and then the corresponding frames that needed replacing. And I believe I needed a bracket, a lower channel. That's included in there too. Next up, convertible top. The convertible top, I believe we underbid that quite a bit. I didn't realize the last time I had a convertible had been probably 12 or 13 years. Well, we estimated $1,200. We came in at damn near 36, so we overshot that. I didn't realize everything it takes. You got to buy the top, you got to buy the cylinders, the pistons, you got to buy the hoses, I bought a new switch, you got to buy the wiring harness for that, you got to buy the top itself, you got to have somebody install the top. I don't know the going rate for installation. I believe he charged, don't get me lying,
I don't remember. I have to look it up.
I want to say it was like $1,200. $1,200 in labor, and that included paying for his flight to come do it. $1,200 is a little bit on the high end. I think you can get them local for maybe $1,000, but to not have to take the car anywhere and not have the car sit anywhere, to me, that's priceless. That's worth $1,000 if he can come do it at the house, and I ain't got to worry about somebody damaging the car.
Well, that was what you debated over with
Right.
taking it somewhere or having someone come here.
And I opted to pay extra to have somebody come to the house and do it. Transporting it, leaving it. You take it to the upholstery shop. Are they going to leave the car outside?
Yeah.
Do they even care if they scratch it? It's just so many moving variable parts that come into factor.
You don't want to chance it.
You don't want to chance it. So to me, it's worth paying the extra. And like I say, you got the convertible top in there. I sold the old top at a loss. But I did recoup some money. I think I lost $200 on it or something like that. So it kind of washes out. Next up is the frame. $17,000 in the frame. So the frame includes the molded suspension in the front, the molded kit for the rear, for the frame, the reinforcement kit. It includes the coils, the cylinders, the cups, the disc brakes, the drive shaft, the 500 gearbox, the miscellaneous suspension, the tires, the wheels, the rear end. It's got a Ford 9, and then some miscellaneous stuff, which would probably be the wishbone, the trailing arms, the power balls, basically a complete rolling chassis, painted and reinforced. And we're at 16.9. And like I say, that's discs in the front. That's all new bushings, ball joints,
Everything new.
the whole rolling chassis. To build a rolling chassis with the Ford 9 molded and painted, that's where we're at. Weather strip is probably one of the cheapest things on the list, which at the time was expensive. It's $1,500. That included the convertible top weather strip. That included the doors, any little door bumpers, windshield channel, just trunk gutter weather strip. Just random weather strip stuff is $1,500, which is like twice as much as it should be. Hydraulics, we really overshot that. But that was something that I wanted, and in that included we got them as ghetto shocks. I estimated $4,000. When I originally bought the car, I wanted to go with a double whammy, but I sat on the fence for about a year about how I wanted it. We went to Odessa, and we saw Hilo there, and he had these little these pumps, and I almost bought them there.
Yeah.
But he didn't have four. He didn't have four that mirror each other. He didn't have basically what I wanted, but he said, hey, I got them at the shop. So I think I waited about 6 months, and I ended up buying them. The setup is definitely custom. It's not off the shelf. I could have went a lot cheaper. We could have cut that in half with regular dumps, with regular slowdowns, with we could have really cut it in half, but that's not what I wanted. So I went ahead and got it out of my system, and I paid the price, and that's where we're at. And so that was the last on the list, wasn't it?
No. Well, we have miscellaneous
consumables, which you got to factor in. Just stuff. Sandpaper you might have missed.
44 and 46.
What was on it? Oh, you're looking it up right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up and see.
Random nuts and bolts. I know when I put the frame together, I had to go to the hardware store to get some grade 8 bolts.
This is kind of like what it.
Oh, miscellaneous. The fenders, I had to buy those. Title, you had to pay. You got to get the title. There were some pluses and minuses. I believe that was I sold the original rolling chassis, as you can see right there, for $2,500. I sold some other car parts that I had. That's kind of a slush account there.
For all the stuff you forgot.
Yeah, the stuff you forget. Like I say, you got door hinge pins there. You got clips. Just the firewall pad that should be part of the interior, actually. Just stuff.
Spotlight. Just
random stuff that you really don't account for, that you should account for, because what was the total on that? $2,500.
Yeah.
That's not a small amount. You know, that can be the difference between finishing a car, you know, this month or finishing a car in 6 months for somebody, you know. So you gotta basically over budget your project is what I'm getting at. You gotta plan for the worst. And one huge factor that we're not talking about is labor. The labor was free. We didn't spend any money on labor. Of course, you know, you got to buy lunch. You got to buy some beer later on after we're done working, stuff like that. But there was no hourly labor rate involved at all in this entire build. That saved huge amount of money. Without that, I'm sure that the total would be double. And at that point, I'm not sure that it's worth it. So this is something that I wanted to put together to show what something like this costs. And this is us doing the work ourselves. Yep. I mean, we're talking 3 years worth of Saturdays. We didn't do every single Saturday. I say we did about, on this car, we did about 80% of the Saturdays. There were a couple times where we didn't do anything for about a month. But I mean, the hours don't lie. We got 1,600 man hours in this car. And I just wanted to put this out there for anybody who's considering taking on a project like this. It is a...
I mean, but can you imagine if you paid labor?
Shit. Like
with all the hours
it'd be double
that you put, it would be double in cost. And at that point, is it worth it?
Right. And if I would have took it somewhere, the labor hours probably would have been shorter because they're more experienced, they have better equipment. But with that comes a higher labor rate.
Yeah.
So checks and balances. To sum this video up, this has been a monumental task for me. I'm glad it's done. I don't see myself doing this again.
This is probably the furthest you've ever
This is the furthest I've ever taken a car, and me and my wife sat down before I considered buying this car and talked about that. I still think if I were to let it go, it's still profitable. I'm not interested in letting it go unless the dollar amount is substantial. But it's definitely it's an exchange between time and money, and depending on where you're at in life, time could be more important than money. It's a commitment. It's a financial commitment. Mm-hmm. It's a time commitment. It's just nothing but work. And so just want to put that out there. Like I say, I could have bought a red one, I could have bought a white one, but it wouldn't have been
per year.
That's what it cost in 3 years time. $39,000, 40 grand per year
to build it.
Now, wow, that's a lot of money.
So 40 grand per year divided by 12 months.
$3,200 a month. I mean, for some people that's cheap, but for people like me, it took a lot. That took a lot. That it definitely more than I worked more than one job for sure. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. Try to be as transparent as possible. Like I say, I like to brag, or not necessarily brag, but I take pride in saying that this car has never left the house for any type of work, man. We did it, we got it done, and here it is. So I hope you guys enjoy it. You may see it at a show near you. We do plan on taking it around in the upcoming year or two. And that's it, man. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Y'all stay tuned for more work, and thanks for watching.